The rain had been falling for hours, coating the streets in a shimmering silver glaze. Daniel Harris tightened his grip on the steering wheel of his battered Ford F-150, its windshield wipers struggling to keep up with the downpour. His work boots were muddy, his flannel shirt clung to his shoulders, and his mind was a storm of its own. Rent was due in 4 days, groceries were running low, and the email from McAllister Industries saying "we'll be in touch" had felt more like a polite rejection than a promise. Daniel was a single dad of 6 years now. His wife, Emily, had passed away from a sudden illness, leaving him to raise their 7-year-old daughter, Sophie, on his own. He worked construction jobs when they came, fixed fences for farmers on the weekends, and drove deliveries in between. But the steady paycheck he needed was elusive, and this application to McAllister Industries, one of the largest logistics firms in the tri-state area, was his last real shot before things got critical. He turned down Maple Avenue, heading toward the old bridge, when his headlights caught movement on the roadside. A woman stood there, one arm raised, the other clutching a small leather purse close to her chest. She wore a tailored navy skirt suit and heels that had no business being on a wet sidewalk. Her auburn hair clung to her cheeks, damp from the rain. There was no umbrella, no car in sight. Daniel slowed. Every instinct told him people didn't just stand out here in the dark unless something had gone wrong. He rolled down the passenger window just enough. "You all right?" The woman's eyes, sharp, green, and yet strangely guarded, met his. "My car died about 10 minutes ago. I've called roadside assistance, but they said it'd be over an hour, and I need to get across town. Could you possibly give me a lift?" Daniel hesitated. He was cautious, especially with Sophie at home with his neighbor. But the rain was relentless, and something in the woman's voice carried urgency. He nodded toward the door. "Hop in." The moment she slid into the passenger seat, the scent of her perfume, light but expensive, filled the small cab. She sat upright, crossing her legs, trying not to drip too much water onto the seat. "Thank you," she said quietly. "You've already saved my evening." Daniel gave a small smile. "Not a problem." "Where to?" "Downtown. Corner of Madison and 4th. Daniel's eyebrows lifted slightly. That was the heart of the city's business district. "That's a long walk in this weather," he said. She gave a faint, humorless laugh. "Trust me, I know." They rode in silence for a moment, the rain drumming a steady rhythm on the roof. Daniel found himself stealing quick glances at her. She wasn't just another businesswoman, her posture, her watch, the subtle confidence in the way she held herself, this was someone used to being in control. But tonight, in his old truck, she looked human. At a red light, Daniel asked, "So, what do you do?" "I run a company," she said, almost as if she didn't want to explain. "McAllister Industries." The name hit him like a hammer. He gripped the wheel tighter, feeling the rough callus on his palms press against the leather. The McAllister Industries, the company whose HR department still had his resume. "Impressive," he managed to say, keeping his voice steady. "That's big business." "It has its challenges," she replied. "And you? What do you do?" Daniel hesitated. "Right now? Odd jobs. Whatever keeps the lights on. But I applied for a driver position at your company, actually." Her head turned sharply toward him. For a moment, she looked like she was studying him, measuring him against some invisible standard. Then she smiled faintly. Small world. The light turned green, but Daniel's thoughts kept spinning. They reached Madison Street sooner than he expected. The towering glass buildings loomed above them, reflecting the streetlights in fractured golden lines. She directed him to stop outside a sleek high-rise with a marble lobby visible through the glass doors. Before stepping out, she reached into her bag and pulled out a business card. "Daniel Harris," she said softly, surprising him by using his name. "I'll remember tonight." Kindness isn't common these days. Stared at the card in his hand, her name, Claire McAllister, embossed in gold. Beneath it, President and CEO. She disappeared into the building before he could say another word. The next morning, Daniel's phone buzzed while he was making Sophie's breakfast. It was a number he didn't recognize. Mr. Harris? This is HR from McAllister Industries. We'd like to move forward with your application and schedule an interview today, if possible. His chest tightened. He agreed immediately, barely hearing the rest. As he hung up, Sophie's voice broke through his thoughts. Daddy, why are you smiling? He ruffled her hair. Because, kiddo, I think our luck might be changing. The HR representative led him into a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows. Daniel had rehearsed answers, practiced steady eye contact, and worn his best, though still modest, clothes. But nothing prepared him for the moment Claire McAllister herself walked in, her gaze locked on him, and that same faint smile returned. Mr. Harris. We meet again. Daniel stood, shaking her hand firmly. The interview wasn't like any he'd had before. Instead of rapid-fire questions about qualifications, Claire asked about his life, his daughter, his values. She seemed more interested in who he was than in his resume. Finally, she set her pen down. You're hired. Starting Monday. Full salary, benefits, and I expect you won't be late. Daniel's throat tightened. Thank you. I won't let you down. By the time he left the building, the rain had stopped. The sun broke through the clouds, casting golden light across the streets. Daniel's boots felt lighter, his steps more certain. When he got home, Sophie was waiting by the door. How'd it go? Daniel knelt down, pulling her into a hug. We've got a new chapter starting, kiddo.